winning, that means you're feeling the vibe. The bell rung, you already been subscribed. Right now, the queen, she on live. Right now, please pull over the whip, no phoning when you drive. Dope Soul sporting with the talk. First lady from New York, Brooklyn. All my people, you rocking with the chat. Hit that. The like button would tell me where you at. You know, step from the MBK. Born and raised up MBK. Hey, real lady, where she holding it down. No matter way how you feel, she gon' greet you with a smile.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Oh, sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
What?
Dope Soul.
What?
Your soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Salute, Knick family. Welcome to the channel. Dope Soul Sports Talk, Dope Soul Knicks Talk, a member of the NBK family. This is the weekly show, Thursdays, 9 o'clock, 9-ish, where we talk about all things Knicks that's occurred since the last week. Where we just kicking it, or as I like to say, just nicking it. We only have 22 games left in the season. It's so hard to believe that the Knicks have played 60 games. Right? So we're going to talk about these last 22 games, what you would like to see in general, what you'd like to see offensively and defensively. Are you trusting Tom Thibodeau? Now, I know some fans have had a change in heart. Others haven't. No pun intended with heart. Others haven't. Do you trust Tom Thibodeau to coach this team to the last 22 games and help push us into that fifth seed? We'll talk about that. Can the Knicks finish 17-5? Go on a bit of a run and win 50 games. We're going to talk about that as well. We'll talk about players that need to step up. Also, I'm going to bring in Jarrell while we wait for the rest of the panel. Jarrell, welcome back again. My condolences to you. How you feeling?
Thank you, Steph. Salute to you. Salute to everybody in the chat. Thank you for the kind words last week. And today, man, like I had a tragedy in my family last week, but I'm glad to kick it with my Knicks family. Now I'm back. I'm here to stay, hopefully for a very long time.
Right.
You know, let's sit here and talk about the Knicks, man. It was you know, not a lackluster week sports-wise because of the All-Star game.
Right.
But I didn't really pay attention to that, man, too much because it wasn't that much going on. We could talk about you know, Jericho Sims, what he did in the slam dunk contest. I watched that.
Yes.
It was weak. And yeah, that's it. And the game, and Julius Randle being in the 3-point contest, I know that was a little weak as well. But you know, we love the Knicks. 22 games left. I'm psyched.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, yeah, we can go through that real quick. You know, I thought Jericho Sims could have done more to really show off his hops. You know, and that like he could have took the ball off the top of the backboard and dunked it, you know, or
Right.
something like that. And you know, Randall, I don't think that's his type of event, the 3-point shooting event. You know, I just think in a game, he's more of a game shooter,
Right.
than like a pure, you know, a pure 3-point shooter. And the All-Star game itself. Now, when they changed the format, we got some good games. It seemed like they got some energy into it with the new format.
Right.
This one, it felt the way it felt before they changed the format.
Right. It's almost like they told each other, yeah, we're not really playing.
Right.
Until like the last couple of minutes, just because of, you know, like the point system and, you know, such and such goes to charity depending on what quarter you win and all that.
Right.
But you could tell no defense was playing. It was
Correct.
It was pretty unbearable. I watched it for about 10 minutes, then I turned it off. Then I went back like after halftime, but it was pretty bad, man. I'm not watching that again. Like they have to change something.
Yeah. Anyway, let me just shout out the chat. David G, Kareem, Grant, Greg, Pudge Nice, Jeffrey Clafter, JJ. Jeffrey is or is he Jeff today? Let me see. He's Jeffrey today. Jeff Clafter is I'm sure pretty excited that Mitchell Robinson, one of his favorite, if not favorite players, will be back. Pudge Nice, Ajay, he'll be joining us later. Eddie C, feel free to hop on. Andrew K, And Ashley Inc. 1, I sent you the link as well. Feel free to hop on. All right. The Knicks have 22 games left. It's just hard to even say that. But anyway, what would you like to see in general from the team over the last 22 games?
The way that we've been playing since Josh Hart got, acquired in the trade deadline, we pretty much got to keep doing what we've been doing. I mean, did we lose a game since he's been on the team? So until we actually lose, I'm gonna say keep doing the same thing that we've been doing. We get Mitch back. Hopefully, I heard that he's actually practicing with the team.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, we get our starting center back. I don't really at this point. It really doesn't matter if Josh Hart starts or not. I was, last week I was doing the hashtag, start Hart and everything, but it really doesn't matter if he starts. He usually finishes games, but I think Tibbs will be Tibbs. He has his players now.
Mm-hmm.
Got rid of Cam and brought Josh Hart in. So that's a huge, plus for Tibbs and how he's going to move forward. So to me, I think we should just pretty much do the same thing we were doing.
I agree. And let's shout out. We didn't talk about Grimes and JJ. Love seeing my guy Grimes show out in the Rising Stars.
Right. I forgot.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And I think that was just a prelude of things to come.
Right.
Like I said, he's right where you would expect him to be as a second-year player, but I'm really high on him going forward.
Yeah, Grimes showed out. Like he actually surprised me. Hopefully, I was glad that the lights weren't too bright for him. But maybe he told Josh Hart, maybe you could look at me at this keep your seat on the bench and watch me do what I do. You know what I'm saying? Like that was like a, look at me moment for Grimes.
Yeah.
Like definitely. I'm still here.
Yeah, definitely. To your point, since Josh Hart has been here, we're 3-0, but I think we're either number 1 and number 2 or number 2 in offensive rating. So the offense has gotten better. The bench scoring has gotten better, obviously. And defensively, I think we're over again, small sample size of only 3 games. I think we were ranked like 11th, if I'm not mistaken, in defense. So the offense, the defense, and the bench has been better in those, in those 3 games. So will it continue? I mean, we'll see. One of those games he scored 27. Now I don't expect that to happen, but the 3-point shooting is there because there's more volume.
Right.
There's more volume, and he's hitting his 3-point shot. So yeah, in general, the offense has never been an issue, but in general, to your point, I'd like to see the bench continue to play well. I thought the bench was playing well, but when I crunched the numbers, they were like 27th, 28th in the league in scoring, bench scoring, even over the last 5, 7, 10 games prior to Josh Hart, where I'm like, wow, the bench is really shaping up. We looking really. They were still ranked like 27th or something,
I think it was like that maybe because they was actually worse before that. Like
it was actually worse. Yeah, you're right. It was like 17, 19 points.
Because I remember at one point you asked, what this team needed, and everybody said a backup point guard and a backup 3-and-D wing.
Right.
It was all, everybody was supposed to come off the bench. Like our starters was pretty much set.
Right.
We needed bench help. So Josh Hart came. Obviously, he closed his game, so it's kind of skewed when it comes to bench help. But between him and Grimes, it really doesn't matter who starts at this point.
Yeah, it doesn't. We bring in Jay Boogie.
Hello,
sir.
Salute.
How are you?
Good evening, Queen. Blessings, health, and happiness to you, Jarrell. Blessings, health, and happiness to you, man.
My man.
Hey, you've been doing a great job holding down the Queen, man, like you do, man.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? From here on out, you know what I'm saying? If I'm calling her Queen, I'm calling you King.
My
brother.
Yeah. My God, salute, Jay Boogie.
Shout out to the chat, man. Blessings, health, and happiness to everybody rocking with this orange and blue. What's going on? It's game time. We back.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. I'm super excited about it, but I do want to just shout out Jarrell. He don't really like to take compliments, but when you grow in a channel, you grow a channel with the panel, with the people that's with you and they rocking with you every day and you know what to expect. That helps you get the channel off the ground.
That's right.
And he been rocking with me from day. All I said was, Jarrell, you want to come on the show?
You gonna have me blush. I gotta get off
shows.
I gotta get off camera. You gonna have me blushing out here, Queen.
And
Don't
one
do
of
that.
them was for last week because he had a death, a death in the family. So
Right.
him, Staffer, Ajay, of late, and Tsunami, when
Right.
when she's feeling better, that helped me grow the channel. So I'm super appreciative, of it. And anything I could do to show my love and appreciation, I definitely try to do it.
Right. Definitely shout out to Tsunami. I'm pretty sure if she was up to it for the most part, she will be here a lot more than she is.
No doubt. And here's Ajay back.
My man.
All right. So we was.
No, I would, Queen. Before you keep going out, yes. Jarrell, man, condolences to you, brother, man.
Thank you, sir. I
didn't get to say that to you. And salute Jay Boogie. Salute to the chat, and of course, Knicks Nation. Let's go.
Yes.
We back.
Yes.
Definitely. Listen, we only got 22 games left. Like, I was so surprised that we've played 60 games already. My man, BX Jetty, I miss you in the house. I miss you, BX. Anything you want to see in general over these last 22 games, and then we could talk specifically offensive. Well, actually, in general, offensive, defensive, anything you want to see over the last 22 games.
Jay Boogie, you want to go first? I'll let the poet go first.
And I just want to see them play better than what they did in the first half, and they did pretty good getting this right here. But you know what I'm saying? It's not about how you start, it's on how you finish it. I want to see the squad continue on finish it in all areas and phases of the game. Finish on how to, continue on growing together. Finish on how to be there for your brother. Finish on working hard for yourself. Finish on working hard for the organization. Finish on out these games, too many games that we gave up towards the end. Be a finisher now, you know what I'm saying? You open, you got a middle, and you got to close. I need you to close out the rest of the season. As Queen already said, it's 22 games left, you know what I'm saying? I need you to go ahead and handle your business, you know what I'm saying, and take on what people think we can't do, man. So I'm amped up, ready for the season to continue on. The trade deadline is gone. The All-Star break is gone. You got what you got. Get it with your muscles. I like us. We got it with our muscles, you know what I'm saying? Mitch is on the way back, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
We're getting healthy. Team's going to have to readjust back against us. If you haven't played against us with Josh Hart, then you should have been looking at some film. But what happens if Josh Hart continue on doing what he's doing and RJ started coming to be the person that he's supposed to be, and Mitch comes back and starts shutting down that bank? You know what I'm saying? We got a whole different outlook for everybody, man. Stay tuned, man. The Knicks is here, man. I love what we're doing, man. I'm ready to go, man.
Right. Before AJ comes, I got to add my man to the stream.
Salute.
Salute. Listen, he got a whole network over there now. So definitely check him out, how he's grown from basketball, MMA. You could talk more about it, what else is going on over in that channel, but it's great to see you. How are you?
Yes. I'm doing well, Stephanie. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to see you. Everyone, my man Jay Boogie, salute. 3 capital S's, salute. Gentlemen, it's a pleasure to meet you on the panel.
Man.
Let's talk the team that we love, man, that orange and blue, man. I'm excited. You guys got me pumped up. We've been off for 9 days, and I'm like, yes. I'm ready to blow like a piñata to talk some basketball.
All right. So let's go back to Ajay, and we'll come back to you in terms of what do you want to see from the Knicks over these next 22 games?
Well, I want to say real quick, I kind of along the line of what Jay Boogie was saying, I want to see us continue to play our game. However, there are certain things that we've seen in previous years that I'm going to be looking forward to. We've known after the All-Star break, we always see a different RJ Barrett. I'm looking for that RJ to come back. Mm-hmm. And imagine we have what we have right now, and you add RJ Barrett, the second half RJ Barrett, or in this time, last quarter RJ Barrett, and Mitchell Robinson coming back. Man, I don't think any team wants to bump into the Knicks during the playoffs, man. If we can get those guys back at the level we know they can play. We watch the Knicks all the time, so we know what those guys can do. If they can get back to that, in addition to what we have right now, meaning, Quentin Grimes, Emmanuel Quickly, the way he's playing,
Mm-hmm.
All-Star Julius Randle,
Mm-hmm.
should have been All-Star Jalen Brunson. You know, man, whew, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Basically, what you and Jay Boogie is saying is that there's still some untapped potential on this
Absolutely.
team that we
Absolutely.
haven't really reached our ceiling
That's
yet.
right.
Yep.
RJ, untapped. Josh, we're just scratching the surface of what we can get, from Josh Hart and Mitch coming back. BX, your thoughts on what you would like to see these last 22 games?
In these last 22 games, I mentioned, I said, who are these Knicks? And before, when we had that 8-game winning streak, we still didn't know who the Knicks were. Now we have them an identity. We have good perimeter defense as well as interior with Mitchell Robinson, Josh Hart, and so forth. We just now to continue to establish. Remember, these teams under Coach Thibodeau always finish the second season and finish the season off strong. We saw it his first year. We saw it even though last year it was a down year. They still finished off strong with Toppin and quickly. They're going to finish strong here. I think their best basketball is still yet to come with this team, and they're going to gel at the right time. As barring injuries, barring there's no setback or no other major injuries, we're going to look into a position where if we do stay out of the play-in, we're going to go in with a healthy team and a strong defensive who knows whose role they are, and we're going to find out who this team is. The Knicks are not just a mediocre team or playing team; they're a good team. They're a playoff team, and their sky's the limit. Do they have their superstar to transcend? Maybe not, but they've got three guys possibly that could give you 21, 22 points average anytime. And like you said, and mentioned about RJ Barrett, if he finishes off strong, that's just more caveat. I wish they would have addressed the 3-point shooting, but I always said, get in the postseason. Guys tend to, when it comes for big playing, anyone can hit those threes. I'm thinking Fournier is the reason why he's on this team. Fournier is going to be a big proponent in the postseason if he gets on the rotation, because you're going to get French national Evan Fournier, I believe, when you get to the postseason. That's just a hunch.
Yeah, and the thing about it, like I was like, we need to sign some vets, for the playoff run. This is my thinking, because it's different. We don't know how Grimes and these guys are gonna respond. But then I'm like, yo, and we got Fournier in a pinch, we got Rose in a pinch. If these guys, if any one of those guys is just like a deer in headlights, we're not stuck. We have somebody on the bench that we could press into duty if we need to, and which is what we had to do 2 years ago. I mean, Rose was already in the rotation, but he had to take on such a bigger role in the playoffs because our offense was just bogged down. So that's a pretty good point. Anything defensively that you want to see over the past 22 games, or do you feel like defensively we're okay?
Well, we're rebounding the ball well. Both now we're even getting we're even getting it from our guards. Don't. I know Josh Hart is a great rebounder. Don't discourage Emmanuel Quickly, which he's been in the league. He's been a hell of a rebounding guard. So I feel more comfortable because we're not going to give up that long three ball. We're not going to have that Boston Celtics beginning of the season fest where they shot a bunch of threes. And speaking about that, we're going to see Boston coming out right off the bat. So it'll be interesting to see how we're going to adjust with their 3-point shooting. So that I'm looking forward to when the measuring stick against the teams that shoot the three ball well, how we're going to stack up.
Yeah. Anybody else commenting on the what you would like to see defensively over the last 22 games?
Well,
we played Boston on the 27th.
Well, Mitch is supposed to be coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So, if Mitch is who he is and who we said he is, then our defense is going to be a lot better going forward. At least it should be. Because even though iHeart, played a pretty good part of, the rebounding and the defense, in Mitch's absence, Mitch being back is a huge thing for us because it actually gives less minutes for iHeart. He could be fresher, and I actually like him coming off the bench more.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
So for defensively, we cannot afford to have RJ Barrett falling asleep, getting beat backdoor, play in and play every time down the court. He's getting beat backdoor. He really has to pick it up. In fact, I think it's more important that he picks it up on defense than he scores the ball. I mean, we do need both.
Agreed.
But the defense, because we know Jalen Brunson, he's limited physically. We know what we have with him defensively, so we cannot afford to have another weak link on defense. Not that Jalen Brunson is a weak link, but because he puts in the effort, as much as he can with his size. But RJ Barrett definitely has to pick it up on defense.
Right. Now, with RJ Barrett defensively, is it effort or is it physical with him as well? Because sometimes, when it comes to his lateral quickness, sometimes I feel like it's just physical. Maybe he put on some weight. Maybe, I'm not sure how much he's going to be able to do there. But in terms of awareness, backdoor, team defense, effort, I definitely think there's some improvement there. But just your thoughts on RJ Barrett defensively, and where do you think he can improve, and where do you think this is just where it is given the physical limitations?
Hopefully it can be where it is. For RJ's sake, it better not be. It is what it is, and this is going to be his defense going forward. Like, RJ was a way better defender than this when he first came into the league. So I guess it would be physical. I mean, we could have the excuse of putting more weight on and whatever, but I don't know. He has to lock down. Like AJ said, it's actually way more beneficial for him to be a better defender than an offensive player right now, even though he's not shooting well. But him being a good defender is the hole in our starting five. It's not his offense. Like, I could take him missing shots. Like, all of them are usually inconsistent. Jalen Brunson has been consistent. And, Julius Randle's been consistent too, but everybody else has always been inconsistent. So I could take that on offense. It's the defensive side of the ball that we can't be inconsistent. We need good defense from everybody every game in order for us to win.
Yeah, and the offense has been pretty consistent throughout the year. I mean, whether we're passing the ball and it's free flowing or whether it's ISO, in terms of where it's ranked, it's been good, even if it doesn't look good all the time. But our defense, at one time we were a top 10 defensive team in the league. Then there was a stretch where we were down to like 28th. I mean, it didn't show up as 28th because they were going for the entire season. But when you broke it down, the last 15, 20, it was like, we like 26, 20, 28th. Now with Josh Hart, these last 3 games, small sample size, like I said, the defense has been 11, 13, something, something in there. If you can improve, keep your offense, the Knicks have a really good offense, and you get better defensively, now we're talking. Now we're talking about, that increases our chances for the 5th seed. That increases our chances for 50 games, which is going to be super tough. We're talking about going 17-5. That's super tough. But gives you a better chance in that first round if you can score and your defense is much better. Anybody else want to comment in terms of what you want to see defensively from the Knicks over these next 22?
I wanted to say about RJ real quick. With that, RJ, since this finger injury, he was playing okay, but ever since he had that finger injury, he's taken a step back, and maybe also he might have lost that because he's growing more muscle. Remember we used to say before, he was frustrating because he didn't get the foul calls, they didn't finish to the basket, didn't have that lift. He came back this year more stronger, and he's one of the best finishers around the basket. But maybe that's the consequences, not sticking with his opponent, and getting beat at the backdoor cuts, playing against the other team's 3. Maybe he's not quick enough to stick with it because of the muscle. That's just wanted to add that. Maybe that's that. And the Knicks are, I think, 6 per 100 possession in offense and 17 in defense. So I remember, I always think about you when we said about, do we sacrifice our defense? I remember 2 years ago and get more offense, and now hopefully this team gives us that balance. I'm always thinking on that comment that you mentioned 2 years ago.
Yeah, definitely. Jay Boog, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, it's kind of like boxing. When you come in and you take that weight, you make that weight right before the fight. When the fight starts, you actually go in the ring. Once you start moving around that ring and get like 6, 7, 8 rounds, your normal weight size is going to go down to your normal weight, you know. So right now, RJ is in his normal size right now. He got stronger and all that, you know, at the beginning of the season. But he's in good shape right now. RJ just can't have no excuses, man. RJ got to have more effort to what he want to do. You're no longer checking the number one player on defense anymore, and you don't even have the number 1, 2. You got the third best defensive player checking you when you're on offense. So RJ need to turn his game up, man, and have more effort. You know what I'm saying? Give me some of them stats that don't even go inside the check box. You know what I'm saying? I teased PJ Tucker about you're gonna go down in history as the best player without stats. You know what I'm saying? Give me some of them dives, them loose ball. Be like Brunson, take some charges or something. All you got to do is just keep your man in front of him. You ain't got to try to play him all closer. You can keep him in front. And Mitch is going to help that situation out. You know, he sees all 9 players in front of him, the 4 guys on his team and the other 5. So he'll be able to talk and let guys a little bit know what's going on, what he see, what's in front of him. And they got to react to what Mitch is saying. I must say Hartenstein was starting to do that a little bit, you know, over like the last 3 games, being more talkative on defense and everything. But it starts with that defense. If we can, you know what I'm saying, Python and wrap around and squeeze some of these guys on the defensive end, we ain't worried about scoring. You know we can put up buckets. But can you get a major stop when you need to stop, you know what I'm saying, up under 2 minutes? That's what I need. If your shot not falling, go back and make sure they don't get a bucket. Then let's go back and try and get another bucket when we can. But RJ just got to step his game up on the phases of defense. You know, stop playing in them Timbs, man.
Right. I'm about to bring Uncle Freezy in here, but Jay Boogie, you bring up a very good point. Timely stops.
Yeah.
I remember the Lakers. I forgot what year it was. They weren't a good defensive team. Their offense was blazing, and Shaq said, "But we knew with 2 minutes to go, we can get a stop.
Lockdown.
You know, even if we weren't playing great defense throughout the game, we knew we can get a stop when we needed it." And that's what we need, you know, from the Knicks. Obviously, I would love for the defense to be great throughout the game. But if it can't, can we get some timely stops?
Mm-hmm.
You know, timely shots too. Anyway, let me bring in he changed his name now. Let me bring in Nick Swagger.
In
the building.
What's up?
Hey, Jarrell. Hey, listen, man. Hey, my condolences to you and your family, man. I hope the grand architect of the universe brings peace and everything to your heart so that y'all can make it through this troubling time, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean that, you know what I'm saying, from the bottom of my heart, man. I hope, you know what I'm saying, God bring y'all peace and comfort during this rough time, bro.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. No doubt. Nick Swagger in the building.
You know, right? Well, we're talking about what you want to see from the Knicks in general and defensively over these next 22 games.
Can I first remind the Queen Bee of a conversation that we had in October?
Yes.
When Nick Swagger said, "Hey, Queen Bee, you know what? This Knicks team might be able to win 50 games." Remember that?
I do. And I was like, 50?
50 games! You know, so I mean, we got
to go 17-5. That's not easy.
No, that's ridiculously that's a ridiculous expectation for the Knicks going forward, 17-5.
Yeah.
But the fact that we're even thinking about that means this team has come a long way in a short period of time.
Yeah.
You feel me? 17-5. The fact that that's even part of the conversation,
yeah,
means that this team has come a long, long way. And the fact that Julius Randle was in the 3-point shooting contest means he's thinking differently about his offensive game. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So yeah, man, it's a fun time to be a Knicks fan right now.
But very important, Queen. Mm-hmm. You say 17-5, right? Mm-hmm. And Nick Swagger said it's not easy, but he didn't say it's impossible. It's very important. It's not impossible. It's not. You know, we went on runs before. And last year we went on some crazy run last year.
Yeah.
So maybe it's time for that run right now.
The year before that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we already talked about the hidden potential, so to speak, with RJ, Josh Hart, and Mitch. And Mitch returning. Anything you want to see over these last 22 games offensively?
Yes.
I'll just say that I'm okay with the offense. I know aesthetically it's not the best, but go ahead, Nick Swagger.
Knicks swagger in the
Knicks
building.
swagger.
We may never lose again. Knicks swagger. We may never lose another basketball game ever. But no, in seriousness, what I'd like to see down the stretch, these last 22 games, is what we saw the past 2 years from our young players. I'd like to see our young players break out when the opportunity is presented to them, like they did last year and like they did the year before under Tom Thibodeau. Like we saw the emergence of Quickly 2 years ago, the emergence of Quickly and Obi last year. We saw the emergence of RJ 2 years ago. RJ Barrett had a 6 3-pointer game against Boston 2 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'd like to see. Also, what I'd like to see is Josh Hart continue to morph it. Because I think, Queen, I think you made an excellent point when you mentioned the Shaquille O'Neal and the Lakers. I think Josh Hart is going to bring a Trevor Ariza type impact to this Knicks. Now, and it may not equate to 3-point shooting per se, but the energy that Trevor Ariza brought to those championship Lakers teams is what we're measuring here. And I think Josh Hart, and I'm not saying that the Knicks are going to win a championship. What I'm saying is that I feel like the energy and the impact of a Josh Hart on this team that needed that type of impact may be a Trevor Ariza type impact where a guy is going to be key coming off the bench, could be a starter in other places, but for a contending team, he's a key cog on coming off the bench on a playoff team, which we are at the moment.
Right.
That's who we are, a playoff team, right? Now, with that said, that's a lot to ask. That's a lot to ask, right? But is it a reasonable ask? And I say yes, right? And that young player that I like to see the emergence from is Grimes. I like to see Grimes do more ball handling down the stretch, not look to pass back to the perimeter as much. Get that ball, attack closeouts, because you know what? People know he's a spot-up 3-point shooter. Attack those closeout, maybe make plays for himself and others. And I'm not saying turn into Russ Westbrook, but be an effective, have an effective growth. And I think it's feasible because under the previous 2 seasons under Tom Thibodeau, we've seen him and young players break out down this same stretch that we're headed into right now.
I'm going to piggyback off of that for a minute. With Quentin Grimes, like you said, with the 3-point, he is one of the best first step slashers in the game. He is quick to get to that basket.
Yeah.
And the thing is, he not only, when he doesn't have the layup, he does pass it to Hart or to center Mitchell Robinson. So I do think that's a good point you mentioned there. I think Grimes is going to have a better second half, especially being around the Rising Star Challenge. The way he balled out and the way he played, he proved to himself he belongs. He's going to be one of those top players that needs to be asked and talked about in the conversation of up and rising stars. And I think that's going to carry over in the second half. And we're going to see the best of Quentin Grimes coming forward. And I think that's another, like you said, I think I'm excited to see that with him, not just hitting the 3 ball, but I think he's going to be slashing and he's going to be scoring. He's going to get an increase in his scoring averages.
And the Rising Star thing, just real quick, Queen Bee.
Yeah.
The Rising Stars thing, he did it his way. He didn't get outside of himself when the bright lights were the biggest and try to be somebody that's unrecognizable, right? He remained the same Quentin Grimes, and the same thing with Jericho Sims in the dunk contest. When the crowd was trying to rev him up to be somebody he's not, he stayed the same person. Like you never saw, he didn't come out there with like 5 rope chains on in the Maserati. He stayed Jericho Sims, right? And that's one of the things, if you're a Knicks fan right now, that's one of the things that should impress you. The moment doesn't get too big for these young guys where they get outside of themselves and fall apart. Like like Cole Anthony wearing Timbs in a dunk contest, right? Right. So just to see that now, the thing is are we going to see Sims disappear when Mitch comes back?
We
I hope
might,
not.
Probably. To be honest,
but this is what I will say: we might, and then I'll bring Stafford Don in because iHeart is playing better now. So he's
healthy.
He's healthy. Yeah, you could tell because he's moving faster. He's definitely much more mobile. And so he's given us that contrast that many of us thought we were getting when he first came here. Sims is giving us more of Mitch, though you can argue that he's a better perimeter. He is a better perimeter defender than Mitch. But the reason why I want iHeart to keep his minutes because there's more options offensively with him there. And he also rebounds. And I don't think we take advantage of his playmaking skills as much as we can as well. And he also passes up a lot of shots.
Yes.
You know, it would be great if the rotation with the 10, but I don't think you could play 3 centers anyway. Even if it did. Any other thoughts on just what you want to see from the Knicks over the last 22 games? You could do in general, you can do offense, you can do defense.
Just to piggyback off that, I'm thinking maybe Sims keeps his role and Obi might come down a notch in minutes, even though he doesn't play that many minutes as it is, because Sims can play power forward also.
Bubba Smith the second ain't happy with that statement. He said, "Give Obi Toppin more."
I'm with you, Bubba. Bubba.
Me too. You talking about taking Obi's minutes? Listen, I don't really see a path forward, and I'll get to the super chat. Paris Doug, appreciate you. I don't really see a path forward for more minutes from Obi Toppin, and I don't even think it's about his skill level. He's behind Randall, second-time All-Star, and he plays for a coach who prioritizes rim protection.
Right.
What's the path forward? And we said this before the season started.
Right.
What was the path forward for Obi Toppin? But what I do like about Obi Toppin is he's given us what he can in the minutes that he gets.
True.
And you'll see it if his three-pointer is because he still gets his shots up in the 10 minutes, and if he's hitting, you get those points. But also I noticed looking at the box score, his rebounding has gotten better, as well. So it's just good to know that when he does get in there, he gives us what he can in the limited minutes that he does, that he gets.
Right.
That's why with iHeart, when you say who's the better center, he does throw that outlet pass much better to a trailing and in transition to Obi Toppin. You've seen that. He throws that long pass there, and when you have Toppin running, that's another element that you add to the Knicks on a second unit. And that's why iHeart needs to play a little more than Jericho Sims, in my opinion, there. For just not just for that reason, for many more. But that's another notch to iHeart getting more minutes.
Yeah, and the rebounding is there, and the shot blocking is coming. Is coming along as well. Let me get to this super chat. Paris Doug, appreciate you. I want RJ to become our 6th man because he doesn't do enough off ball playing next to Brunson and JR, Julius Randle. RJ is a good second unit lead player on a great team. I mean, he I don't know what the breakdown is, but he does play a lot of minutes with that second unit. That gives him that opportunity, to be the lead guy. But what's been happening now as of late with Josh Hart is that second unit is playing faster. They're moving. It's almost like equal opportunity. It's not just RJ Barrett centered, right? You got Josh Hart, you got Quickly. iHeart is coming around. So that second unit is definitely looking more lively. I don't even know if you could feature RJ Barrett now.
We may never lose again.
Listen, 50 games. It's within, it's within reach. Let me just shout out a few more people. D Coolest 718. I'm saying Knicks winning the championship in 2 years. Wow, the Knick family is finally coming along. When was it? Like maybe 10, 12 games ago when Mitch went out? Oh, forget it. Everybody was depressed. The Knicks may not win another game. In the chat, people, was saying the schedule is so hard. And what would the Knicks do? go out and win 2 out of 3, go out and win 3 out of 4. It's a very resilient,
Tibbs needs an extension. We got to extend Tibbs right now.
I mean,
hold on, slow down, Tracy, slow down.
this was what I did have I did have a Tibbs question. Do you trust Tibbs? Well, I don't even know if do you trust Tibbs. What do you want to see from Thibodeau over these last 22 games?
I don't know. I see. To me, that's a weird question. I don't know if it's about what we want to see. Like Tibbs not changing. Like I expect to see Tibbs is going to be Tibbs, and I think Josh Hart. Now that Josh Hart is here, he can actually coach and has a player like an extra player at his disposal instead of like Evan Fournier and Cam. Like they didn't play for a reason. It wasn't because of talent. It wasn't like Cam didn't play because he wasn't a talented player. I just think he just wasn't a Tibbs player.
He don't have no motor.
That could be definitely part of it. Like Cam, yeah.
They're already saying that in Portland.
Yeah, I can't argue.
He the same player in Portland. The people are in Portland already like.
Yes, his motor. So yeah. So now that Tibbs got Josh Hart, I think we're going to see prime Tibbs. Like where he's going to be still yelling every time he, play. Stuff happens in the game. He's going to be standing up all game. Tibbs is going to be Tibbs. Like I think it depends whether you like Tibbs before or not. Like I don't think you have any like different feelings about him. Like Tibbs isn't changing for me.
What do you want Tibbs to change though, boss?
Oh, me personally, I don't really want Tibbs to change much. I think maybe with the players that was on his team, maybe you could tell that it wasn't a match. So like in the past, the times that I did want to get rid of Tibbs is because it's not like I don't like Tibbs. He just might not be the coach for the players on his team. That's the front office fault. So now that they actually got rid of Cam, soon they are going to get rid of Evan Fournier, and we'll have somebody else for Tibbs to actually play too. But it's not like he's going to do more than 9 to 10 players out of rotation anyway. But now that Tibbs has Josh Hart, I think we will play a lot better because of it. Not because of talent. It's just because he's a Tibbs guy. Tibbs knows exactly what to do with him. That's why when he came here, he got big minutes soon as he stepped off the plane.
Yeah.
One thing I could say is, amongst our team, the New York Knicks, we don't have guys on our team really, really that want to just go run off and go do what they want to do. Compared to like the Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta Hawk guys just want to go off and do what they want to do.
And the Houston Rockets. Yes, sir.
They have no love or respect for, for the coach. We don't have that problem, that situation amongst the New York Knicks. The guys, no matter how we might feel about Tibbs, if the guys on the court on the team are cool with Tom, and they don't have no problem with Tom, we good. The only thing I would like to see Tom is have more of a feel of the game. Certain ball players at times during the game, they got a feel for the game. They know when they got to turn up. They know when they got to make a stop. They know when they got to do something. I need Tom to have that same feel for the game on the bench. Have a feel to make adjustment for the game before you realize you have to make an adjustment and it's too late. Turn your skills up, on that coaching staff. I know you're standing up there, you by the scores table the whole game, but I need you to really, really, really turn up on this second half, as far as on the coaching staff. But how the things he got going on, I'm all right because we're winning. And if we're winning, it's not too much you can say. It's some things you can make up and want to say and throw it in there about Tom. But when you're winning, you have to give him some type of props. Because when we started out the beginning, doing it the other way, the office way and all that, and it won't work, Tom said, I'm going to do it my way. Yo, RJ, let me get that 9 off you, and I'm going to make it into a 9-man rotation. And everybody was like, whoa, can we do that? Yes, we could do it because we was winning games. So I just want Tom to make a couple more adjustments before it's too late and you have to call a timeout for the adjustment. That's what I want Tom to do, man. But I love our scenario. I can't front. I love our scenario.
If I may, though, I think Tibbs is doing a great job with what he's been handed. Mm-hmm. Right? As Knicks fans, I think sometimes we generate like 5 different narratives, right? And then when we get a result, then we forget that we said the 5 different. First, it was Tom Thibodeau don't make adjustments. Then it was the Knicks don't have a superstar. It's all these different things, right? The Tom Thibodeau is winning, right, with this roster that we all admitted that was flawed. And he's got us in a position where we're not only the 6th seed, but we could get hot and maybe even make the 4th seed with dudes like Randall, RJ, Hart, and Brunson. Notice I didn't say a Kyrie, a Luka, Devin Booker, right? The Knicks right now with teams like, because one narrative was Tom Thibodeau doesn't have his offense is whack, right? But he run the ninth most pick and roll and gets the 6th most amount of points per possession out of the pick and roll, right? Right.
We like your strengths.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah, so it's like the thing with Tibbs, and I know Tibbs is stubborn, right? Tibbs is stubborn. Like he doesn't want to change certain things because he believes in if there's a will, there's a way, right? Can he do certain things better? Every NBA coach can do things better. I mean, Jason Kidd has Luka and Kyrie, and they just lost 3 in a row. Right? You talking about Tom Thibodeau with less talent than that has won 3 in a row in that same stretch, and the arrow's pointing up. What I would say if Tibbs needs to change, if Tibbs could change anything, right? If he could change anything, what I would tell Tibbs to do is not try to get all the juice from the fruit, right? Give other guys some minutes so when these guys get to the playoffs, and they will get to the playoffs, they'll be at least have some energy in the playoffs. Like you don't have to play guys 38 minutes a night just to get there, Tibbs. You know, other guys on your roster know how to play basketball too. You don't get to this level by not knowing how to play. You know what I'm saying? I would expand Obi's minutes. I would give Grimes more freedom in the offense. To give Brunson a break since they start together, you know what I'm saying, so that these guys won't be worn down the stretch. And for Knicks fans, y'all listen. 2 months ago, in December, before that winning streak, we were like, "Yo, it might be time to fire Tibbs." And some people in this fan base, another one of the wild narratives was we need to tank right now. Mm-hmm. That was 2 months ago. Today, Uncle Freezy jumping on him and be like, and say, we may not never lose again, ever. You know what I'm saying? I want to give Tibbs some credit, give RJ some credit, man, and show him some love and such. Of course, no situation is ever going to be pitch perfect, but no roster is pitch perfect. No, man, the Celtics fired Casey Jones, and they won 3 championships with that dude, and they fired him. So no coach is going to be perfect. You know what I'm saying? The Lakers let Pat Riley walk out the door, right? And he won 5 championships with them. You know what I'm saying? So with Tibbs, the thing is we know our roster is flawed, and we know that we're coming from a very bad place. The climb up the mountain is not going to be easy. In order for you to get to the top, you're going to go through a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying to Knicks fans is we may not ever lose again. I know I'm joking. This is tongue-in-cheek and all of that. But I think the Knicks are in a much better place than we could have ever imagined them being in just 60 days ago.
Yeah, no doubt. I have a question for you, though. When you talk about giving other players more minutes so that they're not burnt out for the playoffs, do you feel comfortable enough that the Knicks are at a place in terms of their chemistry with each other that you can just say, you know what, we're gonna make the playoff. Let's start resting Randall now.
I said that wrong, Wendy. I said that. I stated that wrong. What I meant, I didn't mean giving other players moment. What I should have said is trust the same players, giving them more responsibility in their roles is the way I probably should have said it.
Okay,
right.
Because I'm feeling like the Knicks are still young in terms of playing together, and sometimes I feel like you give so and so more, you can lose the game. Like I feel like and I hear you, Nick Swagger, feeling like whoever you put in will be able to hold it down, and I'm thinking like you holding too long with this, with this player. They missing shots, they missing defensive assignments. when Randall could have been in there for that extra 5 minutes.
Can I give you an example though? I'll give you an example. I was at a game with Jay Boogie. It might have been Atlanta or somewhere, right? Me, Jay Boogie, Rob the Nick, and a crew of us, right? We go to a game. It's the usual. We usually get together about once a year, right? We saw Grimes catch the ball on the perimeter and attack, jump in the air and pass it back out to the perimeter. What I'm saying is, in those situations, Grimes, if you already beat your man, right? How about just continue going to the rim and make a play for yourself or somebody else? It looked like Tibbs is telling him, no, don't do that. Just shoot. Tibbs, give that man a little bit of creative license to do whatever. We saw it with our own eyes. We saw him jump in the air, turn around, and throw the ball back out to Hartenstein. That was at the 3-point line. We saw it with our own eyes.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't know if Tibbs is telling him that, because I've seen Grimes attack the basket, attack those closeouts a lot.
Right.
And pass to Mitch or whoever, iHeart or whoever, he's in there with. So I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of hard because you never know, is the player not showing everything they have because they don't have those skills, or because that's not their role on this particular team. So to that point,
well, Sim did the interview with Grimes' skill trainer over the summer, where he said Tibbs didn't allow Quentin Grimes to do that.
In his first year,
he had the interview, and then we saw him in wherever we saw him at. It was like that. I mean, I'm not trying to put 2 and 2 together like Inspector Gadget, but I would like a dude starting at guard that can dribble and do that, to do that more often, so that it doesn't wear down your primary ball handler, so that he's dead out of energy at the end of the season. Every elite ball handler in this league, I don't care who it is, has a good secondary ball handler with them to help them carry the load, right? No matter who it is. I don't care if it's Luka, there's going to be Kyrie, Spencer Dinwiddie, whoever. If it's Kyrie, it's going to be Patty Mills, whoever. It's always going to be. But when it's the Knicks, though, who is that guy on the floor with Jalen Brunson most of the time, where Jalen Brunson can be on the floor but not necessarily be the primary ball handler?
That's Randall.
That's Randall.
But you prefer for it not to be a power forward, right?
Of course.
He's a point. He's a point. He's a point forward. Randall. I don't have a problem with Randall bringing the ball up. Randall can bring the, can bring the ball up. But I hear what you're saying.
But isn't Thibodeau's system read and react? That's his offense. You read the defense and you react, and that's what maybe Quentin Grimes. Also, I wanted to bring maybe Quentin Grimes, and you see with Obi, they're afraid of making a mistake because they're gonna get yanked. That's one thing that frustrates me when doing the games when I see the guys make a mistake. He's already pulling. Like I understand you're not gonna let them there do mistakes forever, and you're gonna lose the game, like you mentioned before, Stephanie. But I would love Thibodeau to have a little bit of a pulse sometimes in the second half. You don't have to wait until the 3-minute mark, 2-minute mark to make your first substitution. If the team is struggling at best, bring in your 6-man quickly. It's okay if it's only the first 3 minutes of the third quarter and you're struggling a little bit. It's okay to go to the bench. Don't wait until 2 minutes and have the lead evaporate, or now you're down by 4 or 6 or double digits before you make a move. That's the one thing that frustrates me with Thibodeau, though, is a little bit of a pulse of when to go into a sub.
And the other way around as well. Sometimes he'll put the bench in and the lead will, evaporate. Put the starters back in early because the bench is not doing. But I get it. I mean, Van Gundy spoke about this. Is that you have your rotation and you always calculating, is it worth messing up your rotation to give a unit more time or less time, or to give a player more time and less time? It's a balancing. It's a balancing act. But there's been times when that second unit will come in and I'm like, they're not looking real good right now.
They just don't have it.
I think maybe we need to bring the starters back in early, or vice versa.
Was that prior to Josh Hart though?
It was prior to, yes, okay. It was prior to Josh.
Josh Hart changed everything.
Yeah, and vice versa, where the bench is cooking, and now it's whatever the time it is for the starters to start back, coming in. All right, Paris Doug, appreciate the super chat. Tibbs needs to play a hunch with Evan and D Rose more. Those guys, I just think they out of the rotation.
Yeah, they done.
Yeah.
They done.
Yeah, I mean, unless there's an injury, I just don't see them. And I think McBride, there's an injury, he's up before Rose.
Right.
He's up, yeah. JB and JR should rest every minute we're up 20 points or more.
I agree. I'm with you, Paris.
I think it depends when that 20-point lead is happening.
Correct.
Because it's the NBA, it could evaporate, but then you could put them back in when it get down
Right.
to 14, or what have you. You could put them back there. Is there any player or players you think need to step up in these last 22?
I think that the answer is obvious for me. That's RJ. It has to be RJ, man. Like I think RJ, Jay Boogie said it earlier, and AJ, like if RJ actually becomes like the player, not what everybody think he's supposed to be. Like if he becomes the player he was last year, we are a problem. We would be a very, very tough out for a lot of teams in a 7-game series if RJ was just average RJ. The fact that the only reason we have been, not the only reason we've been losing games, but a lot of our hardships has to do with RJ's play, especially on defense, at least for me. So now that Josh Hart's here, if I don't know if he could get under RJ's skin a little bit because they kind of play the same position. To me it's RJ. Like if RJ plays well, we are a completely different team going forward. But if he stays the same, I know we're playing well now. We're on a 3-game winning streak. But yeah, like if we're talking about playoffs and how far we can go, RJ is the key to that for me.
Queen, I want to. So, in terms of player, I mean, aside from the obvious RJ Barrett and Deuce McBride needing to hit his shot at a better clip when he gets the time, there's something we're underestimating. I think Derrick Rose and Evan Fournier, they need to stay ready all the time. I really think Derrick Rose is on that. He's still on that team. They could have bought him out. They could have released him, let him go to Chicago or whatever. I think Thibodeau intends on keeping those guys in case, like when we make it to the playoffs, because of experience, he might use those guys a little more. So that, and I wouldn't be surprised in the background, these guys are practicing every day as if they're going to play the next game, as if they're going to play 20, 30 minutes the next game. They're staying ready. Because, listen, they're in touch with the coach. The coach probably tell them what his plans are. Like, guys, I'm going to use you in the playoffs. So y'all need to stay ready. I really believe that he's going to find time for those guys down the stretch.
Quimby, I don't think RJ is obvious.
Sorry, go ahead.
I don't think RJ Barrett is the obvious answer. RJ Barrett, for 2 straight months when the Knicks were on fire, averaged 21.5 points per game on 44% from the floor and 38% from 3. He got injured. He came back and he wasn't playing good, right? And it's only been 8 games and then the All-Star break. It's not like RJ Barrett has had a bad season. RJ Barrett was playing great for December and January. 21.4 points a game on 44% from the floor, 38% from 3.
He had a good stretch, Freezy. I think he was terrible, not great. Then he had a good stretch, got injured, back to not playing good. I don't know what that stretch was, though. How many games it was, because you're right. There was a stretch before the injury where he was playing very well. Now, was it 2 months though? Was it 2? I don't know if it was that long.
Yes, it was. It was exactly that long. 2 months. I'm looking at December, according to ESPN.com. Mm-hmm. December, he averaged 21.4 on 46.2% from the floor, 42.4% from 3. 73.7 from the free throw line. Then January, in 36 minutes a game, he was 45% from the floor, 36.5 from 3, and 74. And that's the entire month.
When did he get hurt?
He got hurt
in the Dallas game.
In the Dallas game. Let me
Wasn't that somewhere in January?
It was definitely the Dallas game.
Yeah, so I don't think he played the entire month of January. But to your point, though, yeah, he was playing well.
But what I'm saying is there are 2 calendar months. This is not like a 4-game stretch. These are 2 months that I mentioned.
I don't know if January was the whole month, though. Is what I'm saying.
Okay. So in January it was,
but it was still a significant.
It was 11. It was 11. I'm sorry. It was 11 games where he shot 45.4% and 36%.
11 games.
The thing about RJ with the percentages and all that, is good from that time being. But if you go start off in the first half and you go 4-5 in the first half, and in the second half you go 1 for 4, you're only shooting 50%. My thing about RJ is when you missing those baskets, when you making those baskets, I need you to make them baskets. When you get into that rack, I need you to be finishing those baskets. You know, I think more RJ's approach to the game is what he's missing. How you come out your door on your way to practice, how you going to practice and you play amongst your teammates. You're going to rub them the right way or you're going to rub them the wrong way. How you go to your practices going, how you going to go to game time. How you go to game time is going to be what you do on the layup line. What you show on the layup line tells your coach that I'm ready today. You know, back in the days, you used to tell your coach, I'm ready, coach. Put me, I'm ready. You don't see that with RJ. His expression, you know what I'm saying, like the old lady we used to say, he just don't rub me the right way. And there's something about him. You know, RJ needs to get in tune and feel good about being in the building, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't care about your bread and everything, but what counts for me, man, is when that game is on the line in the middle of the game and Julius is on the bench and Brunson is on the bench and we keying on you and you taking 6-7 shots and you only making 2 of them. No, RJ, I don't need that. I need you to finish them buckets. You know what I'm saying? So your percentages on when you make buckets during the most crucialest time, not over the whole game, not over the strip of the season.
You talk about timely shots.
Yeah, I need you to make them timely buckets. You know, you can miss her at the beginning, but if you're making them at the end, I'm good with that. You know what I mean? I'm good with that. That's all I want from RJ, man.
Yeah, J-Bug, I feel you, right? But what third option on a playoff team is doing that? Name it. What third option on a playoff team? All right, who the third option in Boston? Who's the third option in Boston?
Is he doing? Like he's the first option, though. His usage rate is up there with those other 2 guys. So, and he's takes some games he takes even more shots than those guys. So we say third option, but he got the plate, the Thanksgiving plate, like the man of the house.
Yeah, and right, because he's the golden child. That's what he gonna get.
Yeah, any other team that has a third option, I don't want RJ to be like their third option or compare him to what other third option is doing it. I need RJ to be his own option. Be yourself. Stop trying to be somebody. I want to be an all-star. I want to be him and all that. Be your natural given self. You know what I'm saying? Stop trying to do other things that's outside of your game. You know what I mean? Be baked. That's why Grimes stands out in what he does. I'm a fake. I'm going to drive to the basket. Or I'm going to catch it. I'm going to shoot. Or I'm going to pass. I'm going to cut.
So Grimes is better than RJ Barrett.
No. You can't twist my narrative.
No. I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand what you're saying.
The efficiency of movement.
Yeah, the movement. Do other things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and he's well rounded too. But I think Grimes do have a higher ceiling than RJ Barrett.
He does more winning basketball plays.
Right.
But this is what I will say, Freezy. RJ's third option, his shots should be on par with third options, and they're not. His shots, how many shots he gets per game is on par with a number 1 or a number 2 option. Bring them shots down if you're a number 3 option.
And also, Queen, Freezy asked who's the third option on Boston. I mean, they have 3rd, 4th, and 5th great options.
Right.
And even 6th coming off the bench. Right. You know, you could say the same thing about
just for the record, RJ Barrett. So just for the record, RJ Barrett is not taking as many shots as he took last year. And number one options don't take 16 shots a game. Let's just be clear.
But what I'm saying, Freezy, is
number 2 options don't take 16 shots a game.
He's taking more. His usage is not that much off than what it was last year. right? And lately he might be taking less shots, but in the beginning of the season, he was coming in. There's games he takes more shots than Brunson and Randall. He just doesn't score enough because he's not efficient. So it's not like there's a big dip between their shots, how many shots they get. Like, are they getting 29 shots a game and he's getting 16?
Right. But so the stats say that RJ Barrett averaged 16 shots a game every month this season. There is no month where he took 17 shots or 18 shots a game.
Where is that comparatively speaking to Randall and Brunson?
They both take more shots a game than RJ Barrett.
How many more? Because to me, if they're taking 19 shots and he taking 16, that's too much.
Right.
For a third option, usually there's a drop off between the second and third option.
For the most part, when I brought up RJ, it wasn't even because of his offense.
Yeah, that's right.
It's his defense. He's the worst defender. He's the worst defender on the team at this point.
Oh, okay. So is that stat based, or are we going by the eye test?
Eye test. I'm just going
because honestly, if we're going to keep it real, Jalen Brunson is the worst defender. He doesn't even defend the point of attack. Tom Thibodeau in this defensive scheme that we run right now, Jalen Brunson is a second line defender. He does not defend opposing point guards, and you don't need to pass the eye test to see that. If you watch Knicks games, you see that.
But he's more impactful.
Yeah, from how much of JB is physical limitations?
Right.
So it's physical for Brunson, but it's not physical limitations for RJ.
I think there's some physical limitations.
I just heard y'all say like 30 minutes ago.
I think there's some physical limitations for RJ as well, but that back door is not physical.
Right.
Let me just get to this super chat from JD Sports Talk. I appreciate you, my brother. When I was first starting out, this community has been really crazy in terms of their support from me from the very beginning. And he was the one who went over the mic settings with me. He was the one who was talking to me about, my lighting and things of that sort. He said, Steph, people are going to tell you when you first start out, get any mic. I'm telling you, get the best mic you can get. And he said, I want you to look at this mic, the one I have right now. I'll give you $100 toward it. I mean, I didn't need it, but the fact that, he was invested in my success and he was like, it is an expensive mic. I'll give you $100 toward it. I appreciate you, JD.
That's dope.
And I see you doing your thing on KFT, TV. I appreciate you. Continue to be amazed at your growth and your brand. I asked you a few months ago if you expected this from Brunson. At that time, you said yes. Now I ask you again on 2-2. Did you expect this from Jalen Brunson? Go Giants. I don't know if in my opinion, and I know there's some people who disagree, and we had this conversation on MBK. And in my opinion, Jalen Brunson is a star. So no, I didn't expect. Oh, okay, Freezy. Freezy taking it to another level. I didn't expect. I expected him to be a winning player. I expected him to average about, 18, 19 points a game, 6 assists. I wasn't concerned that he was playing without Luka, and the only reason he was successful was because I didn't buy into any of that. I knew this guy was the truth. I was talking about him for a few years already. But did I expect that star level? I can't say that I expected star level.
Nah, I'm a huge.
He's not even at his ceiling right now.
Superstar.
Right. I was a huge Jalen Brunson fan. Everybody know that. That's my point guard. I did not expect him to be Allen Iverson. No. I did not expect. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to average 30 for like a month or two in the league, I did not expect Jalen Brunson to do that. Like, he averaged like 29 points in February. I mean, in January.
That's insane.
Yeah, nobody expect him to do that.
The amount of 40-point games he's got.
Yeah, this is nuts. He's playing out of his mind. Like, he's a star.
Just a correction. Jalen Brunson averaged 31.9 in February.
In February, I was talking about January.
In January? Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
January was like
I'm
29 because he came in second.
29.7, I think it was.
Yeah, he
I'm
came
sorry
in
about
second to Embiid in the I didn't know what he did in February because it's not over, but it's over now. But in January, I just remember that because he was second behind Embiid in Player of the Month. He almost got Player of the Month in the whole league.
He almost got Player of the Month. That's amazing, bro.
I'm calling the commissioner if he is not Eastern Conference Player of the Month of Black History. I'm calling the commissioner because ain't but one other guard been playing better than Jalen Brunson, and he's in the West. That's Dame.
Right.
As far as what he been doing over here in the East, I'm calling the commissioner if he does not win Player of the Month for February.
And for me, I was wrong about Brunson. I called him a Smurf. Remember that in September?
Yeah, I remember.
I was wrong about Brunson. I thought he was going to be 17-7. That was going to be his ceiling. I was absolutely wrong. But you know, I'm an old timer. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a ego that big where I can't admit that I was wrong.
Yeah, it's all good.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, see, that's a good wrong. That's a good wrong.
Yeah,
Right.
it was good that you were wrong about that, Freezy. It's all good.
I was absolutely thinking this was going to be RJ and Quickly's breakout years. And Grimes, I expect a little bit more out of Grimes. I'm not bashing Grimes because the season's not over yet, but I was expecting more out of Grimes. And so I didn't know if the production was going to be able to be there for Brunson, seeing that we had three young guards looking like they were about to explode, especially quickly at the end of last season with the 2 triple-doubles and a 30-point triple-double.
Right.
Yeah. So
Harris Doug, appreciate the super chat. Brunson is a list player now. Sorry if you missing it. I mean, listen, there's some Knicks fans who feel like, because we talked about this on NBK, they got to see more. They got to see it for longer periods of time. I was sold a while ago.
Listen.
You know, a while ago. I think it got to the point where I was like, I've seen enough.
Right. Queen, somebody told me that this is like Linsanity.
What?
No.
Yes.
A season long.
That's a flash in a pan.
Yes,
it was like a week and a half.
Playoff performance though. Because even I was like, I got to see him in the playoffs. And people was like, no, we saw him in the playoffs. He wasn't with the Knicks, but we saw him in the playoffs.
Yeah, Lynn just had a better story coming off the couch and all that. But what this guy is doing is real reality. You know, going back to what he did in the Western Conference, you know what I'm saying, in the playoffs, you know, Luka on the side. But, when Luka was out, man, he was carrying Dallas to get to where they needed to be.
Yes.
And when he was in the playoffs, you seen him giving Mike Conley the business. And when they switched off and put Donovan on, gave him the business. And it ain't stopped there. I see them giving CP3 the business. And it ain't stopped there because Devin Booker started switching. I gave you the business. So when he come here to New York City, knowing that we needed a point guard, you know what I'm saying? And I see him and Julius in summer league together, that told me that Julius accepted him. And when he accepted him, that let me know we got a lot of potential. Julius is realizing he got a point guard and he's accepting him more than anything. That gives him an opportunity to be who he can be on this New York Knicks team. I love where he's at right now, man.
And he got a song about it that we
matter of fact, I had to do a point guards. Yeah, point guards is on Jalen Brunson right now. You know it was coming. I was trying to do something above the sim, but he didn't go above the rim.
Right.
Yeah, any concerns of Randall coming off? You know, he comes off these all-star breaks and these long breaks sluggish. Any concern with that?
True. Oh man, you're right. You're right about that.
Like he didn't have a good all-star weekend himself, like the way he played. So I don't know.
I hope not, but you're right. The last 2 times after the all-star break, he started a little slow.
Right.
Julius had a great all-star weekend. Me and Queen, she told me one-on-one, why is this all-star break was so great? Because you look at the whole sideline, Julius was the only one out there with his family. Julius is out there with both of his little ones. Julius was having a good time amongst his family, happy and celebrating to be here with his family, you know what I'm saying? And if Julius remember when Julius was MIP, you know, all you see was family everywhere. So right now, Julius is in a great big space, you know what I'm saying? I think Julius is going to be a lot different in the second half than what, you know what I'm saying, what people think he is. I think Grimes is going to be different. He's going to be more used to now, okay, me, instead of just using my legs on defense, I know I got to make shots too. I think he's going to be able to do both in the second half. I think Obi Toppin going to turn up a little bit more because he was really thinking about he was being traded up out of here. He thought he was gone. So now he wasn't gone. He's happy to still be here in New York. Look at what he did in Atlanta. I think Gaines is going to carry up. He know he can't get Julius' spot, but the minutes that he do come in, he's supposed to turn up. Whereas we be like, oh, Obi need more minutes. If we saying Obi need more minutes, guess what? Obi came in and he did a job. You know, he did something good on that court. You know what I'm saying? I think that, man, we great. We great.
Are we 50 games? Oh, Smoking Nick. Wow. Okay. The Smoking Nick, I appreciate you. RJ been holding us back. Wow. Quick. In playoffs, will he hold us back? Nah, listen. No. I'm sold on Quick.
Emmanuel Quickly? Nah, man.
I'm sold on. I'm sold on Quick. I mean,
as a point guard, yeah, man.
Well, just in general, my issues with Quick was his decision making and shot selection, and he has improved both of those. I do wonder though. He's playing within himself, right? Some players need to be a little wild to get the best out of them, you know?
Right.
So do you think the fact that Quick is playing within himself, he's making good decisions, he's taking good shots, are we getting the best of him? Or is he one of them players where he got to just take 2-3 bad shots in order to get the best out of him? You know, like, do you feel like he's toned down too much?
But Queen, instead of taking those 2-3 bad shots, he's actually taking better shots. You realize the first couple of shots are like floaters. He's going closer to the basket, like getting in his groove before he takes one of those crazy 3-pointers, which, by the way, no longer seem crazy because he's making them. So he needs to get that feel first, and he's been doing that. So somebody's been talking to him.
He said, "I'm not talking about Quickly." Okay,
he talking about he was talking about the question.
RJ,
he was just like, yeah.
Quick. What it was? So somebody
fast.
So he was like, no, he was like, yeah, real quick in the playoffs. Will RJ hold us back?
Oh, I see. Real quick. Okay, the playoffs.
Quick question. Yeah,
I just feel like we've been successful with RJ playing like this a good part of the season, you know, because other people are stepping up, right? I think if RJ gets back to being RJ the way he was when Freezy read out those numbers, I think the Knicks are easily, they can win these games easier.
Right.
But with him playing the way he is, we can still win them. It's just that now we really need Grimes to hit those shots. Like, we really need IQ. Like, we can't have no drop in Brunson and Randall, right? Because RJ is just not, not there.
Consistent.
Well, once he gets there, then Randall can have a bad game and we still good. Brunson can have a bad game and we still good. Right now, I feel like, y'all can't have no drop off right now. Y'all gotta, y'all gotta really stay on point. And so when we talk about which players do we need to step up, I don't know about step up, but I need Brunson and Randall to continue, because if Quickly step up and Grimes step up and all these guys step up, that's contingent on Randall and Brunson staying at the same level.
Exactly.
Those guys step up and Brunson and Randall take a dip. It's
right. Because they're the only two players that have been consistent all year. So it's about the players that are inconsistent now. Like, if RJ is actually playing well, come playoff time, we're going to be a tough out, no matter who we play in the first round.
Yeah, no doubt.
So if RJ is not coming through during the playoffs, that's where we need Tom Thibodeau to step in and do his job. That's where we need him to make the adjustment, because he has choices. I don't know how many times we've seen him plug in IQ, or right now we got Josh Hart we could plug in. He doesn't. A lot of games he hasn't closed with RJ on the floor because RJ has been performing. So we need him to make that adjustment faster and not wait till the ball game gets out of hand before he start make that adjustment.
All right, let me just read this because this basically plays into what we're talking about. JD Sports Talk, I appreciate you. Who plays better on this stretch run, Grimes or RJ?
That's tough.
Both of them. Grimes for me just needs to hit more timely shots. Like he'll get an open look at a time where we really need a basket. So I just need him to hit more timely shots.
Yeah.
RJ, I just need RJ to
consistency.
Just be back to himself. Just be back to yourself. But to your point, RJ, what you were saying is, as a coach, there's a fine line because you always want your players to believe that you're riding for them. You want them to believe that I got confidence in you. And even though you're not playing well right now, I know just one shot, you can turn it around. So I think as a coach, you don't want to have a real quick hook on a player because you can lose them. At the same time, it can't be, like you fishing for bluefish, where you dropping the line all the way down to the bottom, to the bottom of the, to the floor.
Word.
It got to be somewhere in between. And I think Tom he's been doing that. Like Fournier got a little long because we was calling for Fournier to come out of that rotation well before he actually came out of the rotation, right? So he kind of tends to give guys a chance.
Yeah,
I think,
but sometimes that chance it could be detrimental. In fact, that cost us the championship.
Whose championship?
John Starks, Game 6 against the Houston Rocket.
7, you mean?
Game 7, yeah.
Game 7
because Pat
I mean,
Riley's But
why you gonna do
that's
that?
his philosophy, though. Pat Riley,
all the pain.
What are you doing, man?
Right. But you're right. But who else you putting in?
No pain, no gain.
Right. That Pat Riley, Van Gundy, Tom Thibodeau tree, that's their philosophy. I'm going down with the players who got me here, especially Starks, because he can go 2 for 16 and then hit the next 2 biggest shots in the game.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
RJ is the same way.
Yeah.
Right. And you mind if I answer that, Queen B? The question about who plays better down the stretch? Of course, it depends on what one player does historically, RJ Barrett, versus the growth of a young player when given the opportunity in Grimes. Right. So if we trust what we've seen versus trusting what we hope will happen, Knicks fans generally lean towards trusting what they've seen, right? So RJ Barrett over, February, March, and April is generally about 21, 22 points a game. He generally gets better down the stretch.
Right.
Do we expect that to get worse even though we have 3 years of data seeing it, right? Versus do we expect Quentin Grimes to become a two-way player now that he and Josh Hart can split the lockdown wing responsibilities so that Grimes can focus a little bit more on his offense? Whereas before Josh Hart, Grimes was the perimeter defender, the perimeter wing defender, versus, now with Josh Hart here, he may be able to let Hart get some assignments and show us a little bit more of what he has offensively. What I would say is this question is, instead of it being a runaway for RJ Barrett, who usually plays awesome in February, March, and April, versus Grimes diversifying his game now that he has help defensively on the wing. I would say down the stretch, I'm still going to lean towards RJ, only because we don't know what Grimes has in his offensive bag that he's going to show us down the stretch, because we hadn't seen it in large doses yet. So in order to ask that, I'll say RJ, based on the premise that I would rather to go with what I've seen versus in hopes of what we might see from a young player.
Man, I see what you're saying.
I'm along with you on RJ. I'll take RJ going down the stretch, Same reasons, First of all, you're not checking the best offensive player no more. And I said it early in the show. You're not checking the best offensive player at all, period. Right. And then when you're on the offensive end, you don't have the one, you don't have the two, but you got the third weakest defensive player checking you. So in actuality, if you got two dudes that's been doing what they're doing, you're supposed to be crushing. I mean, crushing on all phases of the game. And I ain't talking about just a bucket. It could be an assist, you know what I'm saying? It could be a screen. You're supposed to be crushing all phases of the game because you're free, RJ. You're free. You don't have all them over things over your head no longer, no more. You know what I'm saying? Whereas when we got rid of Bullock, Reggie Bullock, and we wanted you to bulk up and you need to start checking Tatum and all these guys. You don't have that. You don't have that no more. You're free, RJ. Turn up, man.
Yeah, that's Grimes' job now. Tibbs put Grimes on anybody.
Grimes and Hart, yeah. Grimes
and Hart, yeah.
Yeah, you heard what Tom said. If Josh got to, he gonna play power forward. He ain't joking. He's serious.
Right. Yeah, when he said that, I was wow. There go Obi. Little bit of minutes that he.
Right. Josh Hart ruined it for everybody. Man. He can play 2, 3, or the 4.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about Mitch coming back. Let me get to this last super chat. Paris Doug, appreciate you. Watch JB and Hart guide and lead guys in games. Watch.
I agree with that.
All right. You know, what's Mitchell Robinson's impact these last 22 games, just given how the team has changed for better or worse since he's been gone?
I don't know. I hopefully it'll be a positive impact. You know, Mitch is supposed to be our defensive anchor. So, I mean, if he is who we think he is, then our defense is going to go up. Our offense is already good. We don't really need him for that. It's not like he's going to hurt our offense because, you know, when iHeart started, but it's not like he was a major impact. He was more of an option than Mitch, but he didn't score that many points. He was pretty much just passing the ball. But yeah, Mitch is our defensive anchor. So hopefully we would be good. I want him during the playoffs. Like Mitch is injury prone. Like to me, he's already stamped now. Like he misses large stretch of games every year, it seems like. I just want him for the playoffs now.
Listen, I'm looking forward to them second chance opportunities. Now, iHeart also gives us second chance opportunities, but he passes it out.
Right.
Mitch, when you get those second chance opportunities, he finishes right there underneath the basket. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Not only that, with Mitchell Robinson, you have a lot of other players around him that go to the floaters. Quickly does the floater. Now Barrett does the floaters. With Brunson, with the floaters, you get sometimes some offensive rebounds. Mitchell Robinson will feast on those offensive rebounds, like you said, a ferocious finisher around the basket. So now they add another element because, you know, a lot of times the floaters are designed for that as well. If you miss it, you're gonna have a rim protector. You have like a Mitchell Robinson who could clean it up, and they had that. That's why we saw iHeart get a little more successful with that as well. And I think that they have a complementary of wings or guards that goes along now with Mitchell Robinson on the offensive glass. On the defense, he's going to give you what he gives you. But now he doesn't have to go out to the perimeter to defend because you have iHeart who could defend with Grimes. So now his job is going to get even better because he's going to be able to really man the paint. So I'm excited to see him return. Like you said, he's got to stay healthy. He's got to stay healthy, especially for the playoffs. If he gets injured, it could demoralize the morale of the team if he gets injured again.
For Mitch, I hope he's in game shape because I don't know if you guys notice he falls out of shape really quick and it takes him a very long time to get in shape. Last season, it took him all of last season to get into shape from the previous season when he got hurt. So I hope he's been keeping up his cardio and doing his workout. Because I think he was
it's a finger, yeah.
It was a finger injury.
So,
so he hopefully it'll just take him a couple of games. And if it does, that's fine because we have two guys that we could throw in there in Jericho Sims and Hartenstein. So hopefully he's not too far out of shape that it only take him a couple of games to get back into the flow of things, and we should be all right.
I agree with you, Ajay. I think there is no type of cardio that you can do to replicate game situation.
Right.
I think you got to get out there and play to get in game shape, man. So I agree with you there. And also I think Mitch's impact is multi-pronged. For one, Hartenstein and Sims are those type of players that you get the very best out of them in limited minutes. Not saying giving them 5 minutes. I'm saying Hartenstein in 20 minutes, I think you get the best out of Hartenstein. Hartenstein in 35 minutes, I don't know if you get the very best out of Hartenstein in 35 minutes. And the same thing with Sims. Sims for 35 minutes, I don't think you get the best out of Sims with 35 minutes. I think Mitchell Robinson coming back just by taking the Lions' share of the center minutes means we probably get the best out of Hartenstein, who's probably limited to about 20 minutes, somewhere in that range. Right? Of course, it's not going to happen as soon as Mitch gets back. He's questionable right now for Friday. So he may play, he may not. He might play 15 to 20 minutes. You don't know what you're going to get to, like what Ajay was saying about being in game shape. But in terms of strategic game-wise, Mitchell Robinson impacts the game by being a deterrent at the rim, right? Immediately. Teams, in case y'all didn't notice, teams attacked us at the rim with Hartenstein and Sims in the game. They went to the basket. They were looking to get that Hartenstein matchup. Now, did Hartenstein hold his own? Yeah, he held his own. It was admirable what he did. Was he David Robinson down there? No. Right? But it was admirable. You know what I'm saying? With Mitch down there, they not coming. Period. They ain't going down there. They don't want to get embarrassed. They don't want to be an ESPN highlight. Right? So my thing is Mitch helping us on the offensive rebounding point thing is gonna be good. And do I like Mitchell Robinson and Julius Randle's rim protection? Yes, when Randle is the weak side shot blocker rim protector, right? Do I like Hartenstein and Randle together? No. Do I like Sims and Randle together? No. Right? But with Mitch there, when teams pull Mitch away from the rim, it seems like they communicate better and cut off passes, and then Mitch can thereby recover and block shots at the rim when the offense is looking to pull him away from the basket. He just seems to be more fluid, more agile around the rim, where they run, say, the play that y'all say RJ Barrett gives up the back door. When teams run the double drag screen across, where RJ sees a man cut him across and then one runs behind him and he has to take his pick which guy he's going to guard. Either if he drops back, he gives up the floater, and if he comes up forward, they back door. Mitch, for some reason, seems to guard that well. That's one of those plays that Boston runs it a lot. Philly runs it a lot. They put a certain player in jeopardy and make them decide. Mitch takes away both of those players. So by Mitch just coming back, it gives our defense a lot more versatility and things of that sort. And then when you think about Quickly being a top 5 NBA defender, period, not by position, right, not by minutes. Quickly is a top 5 defender in the NBA, period. When you put Mitch, Hart, and Quickly on the floor together with some combination of RJ, Brunson, and Randle, I think the defensive unit to be better. Overall, they were skyrocketing before Mitch got hurt, but now that Hart is here, I think you'll see those numbers start to level back to what we expect from New York Knicks basketball.
But I will say though that our defense was dipping a little even before Mitch got hurt.
Right.
Yeah, but it just, because we were just looking at at least for myself, I was just looking at our overall ranking. I missed it. But when I started doing last 5, last 10, prior to Mitch, I was able to see that Mitch being hurt, I was able to see it was dropping, even then.
When he was here.
It was dropping, right. It was dropping a little.
Right.
Hopefully, we got Josh Hart now so that we can close, with RJ. I mean, that's fine. One of the things I do like about RJ is that he can have a bad game and still hit a big shot in the fourth quarter. He's not somebody that gets down on himself because he's not shooting well. He shot I think one game he went 0 for 10 or 1 for 10, 0 for 6 from
Started the game like 1 for 11 and then got the dunk against Toronto as time expired.
Yep.
Right. And then even recently hit a big shot after going 0 for 10 or something like that from the field. So he's cool in the fourth quarter. However, Tibbs can decide. I'm closing with Grimes and
Hart.
And Hart, Jason Hart, at the wings. And then I got Mitch back there. Josh Hart, right.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got Mitch back there. I can get my offense from Brunson. Josh is two-way. He can hit a timely three. Grimes can hit, a three. I would like them to be a bit more timely though, but I get it. Second year. And Randall, obviously. So that's a good mix of, offense and defense. Thoughts on the Knicks possibly getting to 50? 17-5, basically. That's what we're talking about. 17-5. And listen, I don't think it matters. 50 just looks good.
Right.
50, it just looks good.
I'll go real quick. Just unrealistic, but not impossible. Just like King Nick Swagger and Ajay said earlier. Like, it's unrealistic, but hey, we Knicks fans, man. We want to see that 17. Hopefully, they get to 51 wins. I don't care. Like, I want them to win as much as possible, but is it likely? No. But it's not impossible.
All right. I never limit my team. I'm just gonna enjoy it, sit back and let it ride. Let it ride like I'm on the crap table. Let it ride. But Stephanie, I want to thank you. I gotta get going. I gotta get up early in the morning. So thank you guys, the panel. Thank you guys. Don't forget to hit that like button. Please hit that like button. And Stephanie, man, don't be a stranger. I'll be some more. But I'm just busy with so many different programs that how it goes.
Listen, I see. I was over there at the channel. I was like, look at him.
Hey Jet, what's going on with our Rangers? I was at the last Hurricane game when we beat them again. I was there for the playoff. What's going? We slipping? What's happening with it?
We had a little right now, a little bit of adjustments but Patrick Kane is on his way, baby. Patrick Kane is on his way in that playoff run. We're getting ready for that playoff run, baby. Ooh. You know it.
No doubt.
Let's go Devils. Yeah, man.
Oh, you a devil.
All right, guys. Have a good night. Have a blessed night, man.
I'll talk to you guys.
All right, man.
All right.
With Queen, real quick, when you said about, RJ does stay ready, it was a night when I got to give JD, Sports Star, give him his props, because he said we also, if we're going to ride a player for when they missing big time shots, and you know what I'm saying, they missing big time shots, you got to also give that same player the props when they missing shots all game long, but they hit shots at, what I'm saying?
And that's what he does. Yep.
So, RJ, you can do that. We just want you to, we don't want you to be like what Stephen Fox say. We don't want you to be consistent on being inconsistent. We want you to be consistent, brother, throughout the course of the game, while you're out there doing what you do, man.
Right.
Foxy.
Smoke and Nick, if you're still in the building, I just dropped the link. I'm trying to keep it at 6, but 1 left. Okay, appreciate the super chat. How many point guards would you swap for JB, and how many power forwards would you swap for Randall? Not many. There's a few out there. Don't get me wrong, but not a lot.
A few.
But there's a few. But
Yeah, I mean, they're both all-star caliber players. I know Brunson didn't make it, but he definitely deserved. If not, he definitely deserved, even though he didn't get the all-star, he definitely could have made it. So they're 2 all-star players. So yeah, the pickings will be slim.
Go ahead, say it, Jarrell. He deserved at least as much as Julius Randle, if not more.
Yes. Yes, he did.
But listen, the coaches made that call. The coaches could have voted for Brunson.
That's true.
And Queen, I like that they did. You know why? Because he's going to make them pay.
Yep.
Every time he steps on the floor, he's going to make them pay.
And plus, it was a sham. Man, these dudes show up to the All-Star game, play 2 minutes, go to the bench, and not. And
you gave up the spot for somebody,
right? That's one of the frustrating things to me about All-Star Weekend. I wasn't disappointed about Jericho Sims or Grimes or Randall, right? But what I would say is the mere fact that a dude came out there looking like Phantom of the Opera with a mask on, and then sat right back down instead of letting the All-Star alternate come in, who had better numbers, by the way, than the guy that was voted to that spot. Come on, bro. It's a travesty, and it wasn't a New York Knicks disrespect. It was an NBA disrespect.
Crazy.
And the NBA should be ashamed of that. And then Giannis with a hurt wrist.
That's what I was going to tell you. 30, 40 seconds or whatever he played.
The only reason was Giannis, though, he was a captain. So I could see why he did it. He was a captain. Like he was the guy who picked the team. So I could see why he couldn't just be like, yeah, I'm not playing.
Right. Right, but he could have just chose his team and not play. And there was a dude that sells cereal that's a captain also, Captain Crunch. Right. What I'm saying is choose your team and let a healthy player go out there and play.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No disrespect to what you're saying, because I understand what you're saying about the optics of it, so to speak.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, the Jaylen Brown one, I agree with you. Maybe
Jaylen Brown played though.
He played a lot, but I think
Giannis played seconds, like 20 or 30 seconds, some crazy.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, Giannis wasn't play much.
Was it DeRozan? It was one of them. Did
DeRozan I don't think played that much.
Yeah, he didn't play that much either.
Yeah. So, but you know, we loved it, and thanks to the Queen Bee for opening my eyes to the dude I call Smurf, because I didn't think he was going to be this. I ain't gonna lie to you. I
was on it early,
and nobody in these spaces in Knicks universe is 100% right. 100% of the time,
right?
You know what I'm saying? We base our opinions on what we've seen
at the time.
Yeah. And Jalen Brunson made a believer out of me, and so I'm a believer now, and that's the reason why I say he he's a superstar. Not going from one extreme to the other, but when you see superstars in this league, they carry teams on a nightly basis. They're very consistent. You get the same level of play every night. I know people say, well, a superstar is this, a superstar is that. No, a superstar gives you superstar level production every night, helps his team every night, doing the same thing regardless of what the other team is trying to do to stop him. Does Jalen Brunson do that? Yes.
Honestly, yeah. The way he's playing right now, I don't have an argument for that.
So when we went after Jalen Brunson, first of all, I thought we were paying him too much money. I'm like, what? What? Think this guy? That's first of all. And second of all, the display of going out there and tempering, and we knew we're gonna lose at least a second. I said, what? We're gonna lose a second round pick for this guy after they find us guilty. Man, listen, get that boy a raise, man.
Yep.
And his contract goes down.
Yeah, it goes down. I mean, it was,
you know what I'm saying?
Great.
Really, hey, Freezy, did you ever think you would see Tiny Alter Ball with plaits and braids?
No.
That's what
and as an NBA, as a fan of the NBA, I was no lie. Before I loved Queen Bee, before I loved the NBA, so I'm a kid of the 60s, right? Early, Jim Brown, Muhammad Ali, Fred the Hammer Williams. When Muhammad Ali was doing them decon commercials, they used to come on Channel 9. So I come up from a different era, right? And so I said all of that to say this. When I saw a point guard, when I saw certain point guards, I was like, Jalen Brunson doesn't look like that. But now when you see him play, you're like, wait a minute. This dude is on their level and maybe better than some. Give you an example. If Ja Morant was to miss the next 10 games, would Memphis fall off a cliff? No. If Jalen Brunson would miss the next 10 to 15 games, would the Knicks fall off a cliff? Yes. Right? Ja Morant is a superstar. But Memphis is good with or without him. They're good without him. They're great with him. Right? But what I'm saying is for Ja Morant's production, I think Jalen Brunson gives us the same production. It just looks different. Instead of a dunk, Jalen Brunson is hitting the Brunson burner from 11 feet. So he's not dunking on another team center. He just getting a shot up over that center at 11 feet, and it's money. And he's shooting at a higher percentage from what I think than Ja Morant.
Yeah, so. I agree. I mean, I think the line between star and superstar to me is irrelevant to me. You just got to have one. Whether you call this one a star and the other one a superstar and this, that, like, to me, it doesn't even matter.
Right.
To your point, Freezy, whether you call him a star or superstar, do you have a player that shows up every night and balls out?
Right.
Despite what the defense is trying to do to them, right? Do you have a player that at the end of the game where their spots are that they're trying to get to, and ain't nothing you could do about it, and they still hit the shot? Whether you want to call that a star or a superstar, whatever you want to call it, And I'm not talking about somebody that just shows up in the clutch, right? Robert Horry, you know, he hit clutch shots. He wasn't no Kobe Bryant.
Right.
I'm talking about somebody who plays consistently in production throughout the entire game and is clutch, despite what call him a star, superstar, whatever you want to call it. Right. In my opinion, Brunson is that dude. And I know some fans need to see more. I've seen enough.
Right. That's why
I've seen enough.
I said earlier that I didn't know he, you know, that's my point guard, but I didn't know he was going to turn into Allen Iverson. Even though obviously he's not Allen Iverson, but you averaging 30 points for 2 months straight, and the defense is actually keying on him. Like what else can you say? Superstar, no superstar. He's the man. Let's just say that.
Paris Duggan, Knicks would not fall off a cliff if Brunson sits. It depends on how long.
You know, they fall down the stairs though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on how long, because you got to think about it. The games are going to be closer. Who's closing?
They wouldn't fall off the cliff. They'd slide down that cliff, though.
Still end up.
They'll tumble down that cliff. You know what I'm saying?
See, the thing is, when we played Miami, we was able to beat Miami without Brunson.
Right.
But if Brunson's not playing against them in a series, we do not beat Miami.
No way.
You know what I'm saying?
How did last year's Knicks look without Jalen Brunson? Last year's Knicks look without a point guard.
Oh no, we ain't even talking about nothing. What we talking about today?
Right.
We had a point guard, Alec Burks.
Right. But you know what? Grimes was here, Quickly was here, RJ was here, but Brunson wasn't. And you see how we looked last year.
Listen, there's a difference between playing the position and how you play the position, and that's no disrespect. That's no disrespect to Quickly.
That is true.
And I want to give a shout out to Rick Brunson too, because Rick Brunson is doing a lot of things with the other guards too. You know, when he first came on, I was wondering when was he going to separate from him being assistant coach compared to him being a father. And I remember beginning of the season was really, I saw really just, it was just Brunson, you know what I mean? But now, you know, over like the last 10 game stretch leading up to the All-Star game, I seen him dealing with a lot of other players and the guards, you know what I'm saying, on our team. So I just wanted to shout out Rick Brunson a little bit too about what he doing, you know what I'm saying, from assistant coach situation, instead of he's learned how to separate the assistant coach and the father thing, you know what I'm saying? And that's very big for us.
Right. Agree.
That way you don't cater just one guy and guys be like, yo, you know what I mean? You treating everybody the same and equal, man.
Yeah. No doubt about it. We're gonna play Boogie song as we exit in the building. But anybody have any last words?
Nah, man.
Or anything we didn't discuss? I know we talked about the 50 games. You know, obviously finishing 5th is going to be a lot easier than winning 50. Right? We only 2 out for that.
But the 5th seed, hold on, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah.
Only thing I want to say is shout out to the squad, you know, going after they signed Kel's 10-day contract, you know, whatever to the squad. Shout out to them doing that. But I would have liked to see them do something, you know what I'm saying? Maybe go grab like the dude that came from Washington, or grab Ibaka, you know what I'm saying? Just to ensure things a little bit more. You know, that's a big blow for Cleveland losing Kevin Love. I don't care how they look at it. That's a blow for them. But that's a come up for Miami. You know, I wish we would I wish we could have made another move where it don't have to be a player that can come in and, you know what I'm saying, and spend minutes and play on the team, but it's a chess, whereas you can get a play and stamp him where somebody else don't get him and they can benefit off his game. You know what I mean? So, you know, but I'm happy that we went and got Kells, you know, we drafted him. They gave him a 10-day contract, you know, whatever. I think that's going to sew us up for the rest of it. I don't think we're going to do anything else, but, you know, hey, get it with your muscles. We got ours.
Word.
Yeah. I'm not sure what went into that. But but it is what it is. I guess they feel like they got enough insurance with Fournier and Derrick Rose,
Right.
and Sims, who might be back on the bench if we don't expand the rotation. And McBride. McBride is young though. That's what I'm trying to guard against in the playoffs. Not saying that he can't play well. This guy is extremely confident, but sometimes, it takes a little while.
Yeah.
To perform in the playoffs.
Yeah, Deuce not ready. Not yet. He will be in the future.
He was turning the corner, but he still ain't ready though.
Right.
He was turning. But just real quick, final, I guess last word. Look for a Grimes breakout down the stretch.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And that's gonna stem from his him going to the Rising Star Challenge. There's something I noticed that in that game, he kind of took stuff, like he took it too hard, like he took it personal. He didn't go out there just to play. He went out there to prove a point. Yeah. And I think it bothered him that his team didn't win, even though it meant nothing. But to him, he was being challenged by a couple of guys on the other team, and he really took it too hard. He really wanted to prove them wrong. So look out for him to have a good, stretch.
That goes back to what Queen was talking about earlier, and I think Freezy too. When he was talking about role, knowing your role and role in your role, amongst the team. Your Grimes knows his role. His role is, playing defense, hustle and knock down occasional shots. But if you could step outside of your role a little bit more and realize what you just did at that, that little all-star event, then we can go that much further too, Grimes, with your shot too and with your attack. I don't know what kind of stat it is, but I remember they said, I can't remember what the show was, but I didn't even know it was a stat that he had Grimes up there as one of the top 3 guys on blow-bys. I didn't even know that was a stat to even exist. But I can blow by you and get to that rim and that rack and do some things. Right. Turn up, bro.
And he's actually, and shout out to Jonathan Macri, Knicks Film School. Mm-hmm. In the clutch, crunch time, he's 9 for 18, shooting 50% from 3. Number 1 in the league for somebody who's taken that many, 3-pointers in crunch time. So maybe the shots I'm seeing him missing must not be in crunch time. It'd be some timely shots. I'm like, oh, we need this one right here. He's wide open.
Wide open. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But, listen. Harris Duggar, appreciate you. J Hart and IQ with Randall hold us down short term. I mean, hopefully we won't ever have to, get to that point.
The comment right before that from Eddie C, he says, so Josh would still coming off the bench.
Yeah.
I say yes. We keep Josh Hart coming off the bench. We need that punch. We need that energy. And he doesn't just play with bench guys, but you kind of need that bridge between the starters and the bench, and he kind of provides that. He needs to come off the bench. It's a better deal. The chemistry is better when you do that, as opposed to plucking out RJ. I'm assuming or Grimes even.
I think it would be Grimes.
It would be Grimes, or put him in the starting lineup. You do need that experience and maturity and energy coming off the bench.
I actually thought and wanted Josh Hart to start when he first got here, but the way that I see Tibbs line up, where he actually closes games, at least the games that he actually played, like the 3 games that he played, he closed all 3 of them.
Right.
So now I really don't even care if he starts, to be honest, because I know he's going to close. Before I didn't know that, so I wanted him to start just so we could get his minutes up. And I know the chemistry between him and Jalen Brunson, but now that I know that he's going to close every game, it really doesn't matter.
It don't matter. Yeah, I felt the same way, especially when he knocked down a few 3-pointers, because that was I was like, he can't stretch
after that.
Let Grimes stay in. Then when he knocked down a few 3-pointers, I was like, oh, hold on.
First game. I was like, okay.
But to your point, as long as he's finishing, I'm cool with that. But I want to play Jay Boogie's song, man. Let me see. I got it in here.
Yeah, but salute to everybody in the chat, man, for holding us down.
Welcome to New York.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Now, your dad was on the Knicks team that made the '99 finals. What would it mean to you to be part of a group that returns the franchise to that type of glory?
That mean a lot.
I gotta skip to my Lou. Don't it sound so beautiful? Yes. I'm on my Cardozo right here. Shout out to the greatest high school coach ever, Mr. Ron Niclario. That's him. This one here is for all the guards, the great guards for the city of New York. That's right. Ones that made it to the league, ones that didn't make it. I'm bringing back the point guards to the city where the legends are from. Right here in New York City. Right here. That playground, Rucker Park, New York City, where the handles are from. They come from New York City. That's right. Riverside Gauchos, sneakers making echoes. Skirt, skirt. Sneakers making echoes, oh no. We make music where we bouncing that ball. Don't be the one to get shook, slip down on the court and fall. Where I'm from, your ball handles had to be thorough. I show it off to boys and girls like Dwayne Pearl. The moves and odds from the crowd mean that boy sick. I'm both-handed, go left, right like Rod Strickland. I don't care about your press traps, don't bother me. I'm coming to America like Greg the Boo Harvey. You know me, my talents be that. I put subs in that Volkswagen Jetta, pull off like Kenny Smith. They drive around park to park for that action. Mama, there go that man. I'm commentating like a Mark Jackson. Tell the truth, they know I'm hard to check. And see what Kenny Anderson did to Bobby Hurley down in Georgia Tech. We so ill on the court, they know it's scary. Even went back to Coney, recruited Stephon Marbury. That's how it is in the city, they know we go hard. That in and out pull back, that's that sham guard. I'm bringing back the point guards to the city where the legends are from. Right here in New York City. That playground, Rucker Park, New York City, where the handles are from. They come from New York City. The best. Riverside Gauchos, sneakers making echoes. Skirt, skirt. Sneakers making echoes, oh no. We make music where we bouncing that ball. Don't be the one to get shook, slip down on the court and fall. You want that marquee play, I bought him marquee, so let's kill the assumption. Little Rick, you know that Jalen Brunson. They try to tell me I'm too small for the city. The tiny ultra ball with braids, that's right, I'm on my gritty. I'm making sure I bring the point guards back. You see the garden stay packed. Told Luca I ain't coming back. I'm in the city with fans, they got a lot of pride. And after games get feedback from War Clyde. I'll call up to any phone that's in the first verse. You can't be great without making sure you research. You can't tell me our point guard, he ain't working. It's that basketball version before the hustle, Mr. Pee Wee Kirkland. Better known as a Gatorade player, back to back 2 times. I'm a Gatorade player. Player of the year plus a 2-time champ. Now it's on like your grandma's favorite lamp. I'm bringing back the point guards to the city where the legends are from. Right here in New York City. That playground, Rucker Park, New York City, where the handles are from. They come from New York City. Riverside Gauchos, sneakers making echoes. Skirt, skirt. Sneakers making echoes, oh no. We make music where we bouncing that ball. Don't be the one to get shook, slip down on the court and fall. All I hear is he's too small, but I see him getting his shot off for anybody that's in front of him. Oh, what about, he don't play no D, but all he do is stick his chest out. Got the most charges in the league, huh? Jalen Brunson, that's our point guard. He brought it back to the city where the legendary point guards are from. You heard? Whoa. And shout out to the office. Shout out to Mr. Leon Rose. Shout out to Mr. Scott Perry. Shout out to Mr. Worldwide West and Mr. Allen Houston. Everybody that's involved, you heard? I'm bringing back the point guards to the city where the legends are from. Right here in New York City. That playground, Rucker Park, New York City, where the handles are from. They come from New York City. Riverside Gauchos, sneakers making echoes. Skirt, skirt. Sneakers making echoes, oh no. We make music where we bouncing that ball. Don't be the one to get shook, slip down on the court and fall. Go ahead. Snub them again. I dare you.
Fire. Might as well say that.
You need applause sound effect for, right after this.
Yeah, I do have to set that up. I actually have it.
Yeah, man, that was dope, J Bug.
Yeah, man, that's dope.
Fire.
Dope.
Nice. Appreciate it, man. Just giving homage to the guards, you know what I'm saying, that come from the city. It took us so long to get a point guard, you know what I'm saying, to kind of like measure up to some of the guards that just, up top, we guard orient, you know what I'm saying? It just feels so good to have a guard, you know what I'm saying, amongst our team. Finally, man. Finally.
Yes, that's why I called Jalen Brunson. That's my point guard. Like, we've been looking for one for so long. And I knew as soon as he signed with us, I knew that he was it. I didn't know he was going to be what he's doing now, but yeah, that's my guy. That's our point guard right now.
And he hasn't even reached his ceiling. So, yeah, smash that like button. We got 129.
Yes.
Listening, watching the show. We got 68 likes. So on your way out the building, please support the channel. Hit that like button. Anything else? I know tomorrow night we play Washington. I will be at that game heading up a watch party. So hopefully I'll get a chance to meet some of you guys in the chat. We'll be doing a live pregame show and a live postgame show. NBK, shout out to Simeon Russell, forever grateful. And
what's
those
that game at?
Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C.
And okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And those who have tickets will be going to the game. But I'm meeting some of my friends in DC, so I'll be staying back, heading up a watch party. So if you're in the DC area, Philly area, Virginia, come on. We
the
at
Carolinas.
Yeah. Listen, we at Guy Ferrari's restaurant. Is a great place to watch the game. Upstairs, nice.
Right. So how do you like the Capital City Arena? Do you like it?
It's all right. It's all right. I mean, listen, them concession stands, they got like, they got a lot of them, but it's the same ones. You when you go to
every 100 feet,
Madison
it's the
Square,
same one. Yeah,
you go to Madison Square Garden, you got to choose. Like,
right.
Man, what I'm gonna have here?
Yeah, it's taster's choice in a garden.
Yeah, but the seats are better. That's one thing about the Garden. You go to the Garden,
That's the only reason my big ass don't go, Steph.
Yeah. But Washington, you got the comfortable seats there.
Right. Well, the Knicks actually have a tough stretch coming straight out the gate, man.
You need to be comfortable to watch that trash.
Straight out the gate. The Knicks got a double, like a back-to-back, and we played 3 games. We played 3 games in 4 days, right? Something like that.
So we got
Boston Monday.
Boston Monday.
Yep.
So Queen,
you having Friday, Saturday, and Monday.
You having a show on Sunday morning?
I may or may not, because I'll be in DC. I'm staying for the weekend. I'll be heading back Sunday. Nice. I'll see. Wow. Yeah, I will see. I'm definitely planning on doing it the Saturday morning.
Bro, you heard that? I'll be staying.
Queen, I tell you the same thing like I tell Freezy and tell any other, podcast hosts, You got an opportunity to have fun and enjoy yourself. Go ahead, because you deserve that. Y'all bring so much to the table, and keep your doors open, keep your living room floors open, for us to come in and speak what we speak, and everything. You deserve that, step to the side, You ain't got to rush yourself back, Take that Sunday, enjoy yourself, Enjoy yourself. For all the hard work you be doing, we appreciate that,
I appreciate it. The last time I was down there, the next day I got up and left after the Washington game. I said, listen, when we come back down here, I'm staying for the weekend. I'm going to the African American National Museum.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do.
Hit up some of the food spots down there.
Right.
I'm gonna take my time.
Get that red sauce on everything. What's that red sauce? What is red?
What
is that?
I
that ketchup?
No,
it's not. It's not ketchup. They got some at the
Gonna hurt you, Freezy. Some DC people gonna hurt you for that, man.
No, that's no disrespect.
Is it Mambo or Mamba wings? Mambo wings there with Mambo wings.
Yeah, Mambo sauce. Yeah, I got
ain't no disrespect, because in the Carolinas we put stuff on everything down here, and I'm from Jersey, and we put stuff. I ain't even got to say.
Absolutely.
I ain't even got to say. I ain't even gonna. What I'm saying. Yeah, you already know what ketchup is. I ain't even going. So,
hey, y'all great men have a blissful evening. And when the great one unattach our eyelids and give us life tomorrow, opportunity is there for you to all to go ahead and receive it. I'm getting ready to hop off, Blessings to the chat. The greatest people it is in any type sport belongs to the orange and blue. And just real quick, the next thing I'm getting ready to lay out, man, is going to be a contribute to the 50-year anniversary. I got a song getting ready to come out. I finished that up too, Queen. It's going to be called 1973. You know what I'm saying? I got something getting ready to come out paying homage to them guys that won that championship. It's called 1973. So,
Yeah.
you know,
And I think
years.
when is it? They're is it Saturday? Saturday they're celebrating that team at the Garden.
Okay.
Actually, so they have an event early, I think, from 5 to 7, and I'm pretty sure usually at halftime, they'll have a celebration as well. That 1973 championship team.
We definitely got to beat that. We definitely got to win that game. I mean, you
Definitely
can't be
gotta
losing
win.
homecoming games.
Right. But tell that story, Jay Boogie, about your coach and that team.
My coach is Ron Niclario from Benjamin Cardozo. That's the all-time most winningest high school coach it is in the history of the game. And I spoke to him, reaching out to him when I was writing this point guard song, and then he gave me some knowledge, on since Black history, but he dropped on me. He told me that, did you know September 20th, 1958, did you know Martin Luther King got stabbed while he was at a book signing by Afro-American woman? And I told him no. He said, well, when they rushed him to the hospital, when he got to the hospital, the blade that was inside his chest, the doctor pulled a blade out. And also, realized that, from that time, they said if he would have sneezed or coughed, he would have, went away from here right then and there. But the doctor also, he pulled out two kidneys out of him. And the doctor that did that was my coach's dad. His name is Emil Niclario. That's the coach of Benjamin Cardozo. And I was trying to get somebody to reach out to him too. TNT did a marvelous story on that situation. It was something that I didn't know. And anytime I get a chance to learn something like that, I really want to take heed to it. But he also was a ball boy for that championship team in 1973. I got the pictures where he cleaning up the floors and everything.
Nice. That's dope.
Hear my coach going around doing what he do, and he always said, me and a couple of guys, he think about us all the time, but he think about the other 7 guys that played on a team that got shot and killed. So he tried to teach people, if you got a young one, give them a basketball so they can learn how to shoot this before they get a gun and learn how to shoot that. So that's my guy Ron Niclario, man, the most all-time winningest high school coach there. Everybody in New York knows Ron Niclario, Benjamin Cardozo. Everybody, he raised Ivy over there with the Nets. He came to our school. Dwayne Carswell, he played at our school. Rayford Austin, Skip DeMalu, that's the most famous guard. I'm one of the knucklehead dudes that didn't do the right thing in the streets, so I never played. I don't talk about it too much, but I was a nasty individual on that court, aka they call me Bag, which stands for big ass guard. Excuse my French, but yeah, I was something on that court. But doing the wrong things in the streets can take you away from, your goals and your dreams and your opportunities. So, I just wanted to share that with anybody. But you can also change and do the right thing. You do the wrong thing, that thing get eliminated when you change and do the right thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're only good as your last situation. You can do good and do something bad, and it'll wipe away everything you did. That's good. But if you do something bad, you can do good and wipe away everything you ever did bad. So, I just want to share that with y'all.
All right.
Bim.
All right, man.
Hey, thank you for that too, Jay Boogie. I appreciate you, bro.
That's a great story.
We out of here. I'm gonna play the extra with the part of the song Jay Boogie did for me that's not actually in the intro. It was kind of cut out. So we're gonna leave on that note.
Okay.
I appreciate you guys. Until next time.
Peace.
Yeah, that's right. I see the chat. I see y'all rocking. I see y'all coming. Hit that like button as you enter the building. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button. Show your love. Show your support. You know what I'm saying? This that dope soul. This that new thing. Nobody don't know about it. Nobody don't know about it. In fact, Jay Boogie, let them know what time it is.
You tune in, that means you